Welcome you all in today's lecture. So, in continuation to our last lecture, we had been initiated the discussion about the transient response, that how electrical or electronic circuits is behaving, and particularly how the transient response will occur once you are going to change the switching position in the electrical network. In other words, how critical it is to have a proper switching position in the electrical network, because if you are going to change the place and position of a switching or the time of switching, then it puts invariably invariably measurably impact over the given electrical or electronic network. So in continuation to our previous discussion, today we are going to focus on particularly the initial condition and the final condition, or sometimes it's also called the states of the electrical network. We are particularly going to invest in today's lecture. We are going to investigate in detail about the impact of the switching conditions over the individual elements of the electrical network, right? So as in the last class we discussed, we have seen that the switching position puts a invariable measurable impact over any RL or RC networks. Okay, we consider in last class the first order circuits still remain same. We consider the order of the circuit is first, and then we will slowly jump to the second order circuit and sinusoidal sources. Okay, so to develop a better understanding, still we are going to restrict the order of network or order of the electrical circuit as one. So let us say for our discussions under the head of today's lecture, we says that all the initial condition or initial states are going to represent t by t is equal to 0, and all the final conditions or the final state or the steady state condition is going to represent by t is equal to infinite. So t is equal to 0 is represents the transient response of the electrical circuit immediate after the switching, and t is equal to infinite represents the steady state response of the electrical circuit after long waited applying conditions. Okay, you have applied the switching conditions long before. Yes. So to develop our understanding, we have segregated in three parts. Okay, the equivalent impedance of the element or the sources, the behavior of the sources at the moment, that is called elements at the initial condition. And from elements of the initial conditions, now we are going to draw the equivalent electrical circuit of those element or sources at time t is equal to 0 plus. So as I told you in the last class, that t is equal to 0 plus is indicating that immediate after the applying the switching condition. T is equal to 0 is the moment when you apply the switch, okay, or you have shifted the position of switch. So 0 plus is immediate after the applying of switching conditions. 0 minus is immediate before. So that is the steady state. Okay, fine. So at t is equal to 0 and at t is equal to infinite, we are going to draw the equivalent circuit of that. Now you know that R is free from the frequency. It's a frequency independent element. Okay, so the response of the R will remain same at time t is equal to 0 plus and at t is equal to infinite. Correct. What about L? L is a frequency dependent element. It's an inductive element, so that means XL is proportional to F. Okay, and F is equal to 1 by t. So if t is equal to 0, t is nearly close to 0, so that means we are talking about immediate after this moment as good as 0. So F is very high, F is infinite, so that means your XL is also infinite. If XL is infinite, so that means it creates a lot of hurdle. If this, I will say, assume that this is XL and the current is passing through this direction, so this XL, magnitude of XL is very high. Okay, it is so stiff that current can't pass the electron. It doesn't allow the electron to pass through it. It doesn't allow the current to penetrate through it. Okay, so therefore the equivalent circuit is open circuit. And if t is tending to infinite, that means f it is tending to 0, so that means the magnitude of xl is reducing. So that means now equivalent circuit of L is equal to short circuit. So it's for all the steady state conditions, L is equal to short circuit, and all the initial conditions, L will be replaced by a open circuit. as far as the response of C is concerned, because X of C is inversely proportional to frequency, so its behavior is outrightly opposite, right? Okay. So that means as far as the capacitor is concerned, it initially whenever you apply a switching condition, and assuming that at this stage that both L and R are uncharged, okay, they are not energized before, okay. So in uncharged condition, your C is replaced by a short circuit condition, because X of C is inversely proportional to F, so it is proportional to T is equal to tends to 0, so that means Xc is also tending to 0, so that means magnitude of Xc is very less, so therefore it has no reluctance to so that the current can penetrate through it, current can easily penetrate through it, so that means it can be charged, it is already charged, so it is replaced as a short circuit condition, okay. Equivalent impedance is, and Xc is open circuit, okay, when T is tending to infinite. Now what if the inductor is charged? So if it is inductor is charged, remember that inductor is influenced from the magnetic field, okay. So a current source, okay, it is the energy is stored in form of the current, fine. So I naught is representing the magnitude of current which is being stored, okay, when L is act as a local source or is a charged source, okay. So if it is so, then what will happen, that current is distributed in parallel only, fine. So therefore this I naught will be always remain in parallel whenever you are going to draw the equivalent circuit with the equivalent impedance of the inductor. Now at T is equal to 0 plus, inductor is open circuit, so what will happen, if you are going to draw the circuit, it is a straight line, there is an open circuit condition, and in parallel to that there is a current source I naught, both are going to merge and it will penetrate through a common line. So now obviously the current will pass through which, I naught or the open circuit condition? Obviously the I naught, because it is the shortest path, easier path, okay. Open circuit condition is generating the infinite, is imposing the infinite impedance, fine. So all the current will pass through the I naught, and the amount of current is passing through is, that is now right now is a constant, that is I naught, so it is equivalent network is I naught, clear. But in the short circuit what will happen, that impedance is going to replace by a short circuit condition, and this I naught therefore will come in parallel to this, clear. Now as far as the capacitor is concerned, if capacitor is initially charged, so obviously capacitor is influenced through the electric field, not unlike the magnetic field, so obviously the energy is stored in terms of the charge, unlike in case of magnetic field where it is influenced in terms of flux, obviously. So this value of V naught is equal to Q naught upon C, that is the initial amount of energy is carrying by any particular capacitor if it is initially charged. So now if you will apply a switching condition, your V naught is equal to Q by C, understood. So it is a voltage source, remember, so therefore it will come in series, so it is a V naught and the open circuit condition. So what is the amount of magnitude you have? You have a V naught only, right? So that is a short circuit condition, right? And in T is equal to infinite, again that is the same V naught, and there is an open circuit condition, so no current will allow to pass through it, fine. But the magnitude, the potential drop between the two node is remain same, right? Understood? Yeah. So that's how we can replace the equivalent value of L and C when you will apply a initial condition and final condition over a network. So here let us consider a simple example to develop the better understanding of, of initial condition and final condition states over the network. Here we consider an example where a source V, a battery V, okay, is separated from the rest of the electrical network through a switching positions K, and K is initially open, and remember the direction is the downward, so there is a direct indication whether it is mentioned in problem or not that the initially switch is open, and then after applying the condition switch is supposed to be closed. So let us assume that at T is equal to 0 switch is going to close. So if you are going to redraw the circuit, the redrawing circuit will be looks like in the right half of the section. So remember R1 R2 is not going to put any impact over it. Remember the C is here, I forgot to mention, so there is a C, so C was in uncharged condition, so at time T is equal to 0 C is treated as a short circuit condition, yeah, C is very high, so therefore it will be replaced as a short circuit condition, and very low, sorry, and XL is a very high, so therefore it will be replaced as a open circuit condition. So therefore, the value of I2 0 plus will be 0, because after applying the switching condition, L is treated as an open circuit condition. Okay, because L is not going to change its behavior instantly after applying the switching condition. Okay, so in the before applying the switching condition, L was in steady state condition, and the steady state conditions after applying the switching condition T is equal to 0 plus, L is open circuit, so it will still remain open circuit, and capacitor was closed circuit, so it will still remain, in a closed circuit conditions, right? So now you can write your instantaneous equations. So it is 1 by C I integration of I dt plus R1 I1 minus I2, because R1 is the sharing mode and the direction of flow of I1 and I2 is opposite, is equal to V. So clear? So if I am going to differentiate the both the sides of the equation, so I can remodify the equation, and that's how I can get the terminology di2 by dt, because my job is to find out the value of I1 0 plus, I2 0 plus, and di1 and di2 by 0 plus. Okay, so you can remodify this equation statement, and now here you can appreciate that you are getting di by di2 by dt in form of 1 by L and the rest of the terms. So if you are going to replace this particular value, clear? So you can remodify this equation. You are also asked to calculate di1 by dt, because di2 by dt is already known, so you can substitute this value. I1 0 plus is already known. Okay, so you can substitute this values. I1 0 plus is how much? It is V by R1, because the right half of the loop is already open, so there is no significance at all. Capacitor is short circuited, so the total magnitude is V by R1, correct? Okay, so you can I1 0 plus, you know, di2 by dt is 0 plus, you also know, so therefore you can get di1 by dt 0 plus rate of change in the I1 current, okay, immediate after the switching condition. Okay, how the rate of change is influencing, that is you are trying to see. Okay, again you can go back to your instantaneous equation, you can again further differentiate it in both the sides, so you can get another component di2 by dt. Now you substitute these values, because this time di1 by dt and di2 by dt is also known. If you can substitute this value, now you are getting a constant. Okay, so that's how, if you are going to, okay, there is one more example is given. There is a second order circuit is given in this time, RLC circuit, and magnitude of the voltage, source, resistance, inductance, capacitance are already given. It is already mentioned that C is initially uncharged, VC naught is equal to 0. So your job is to find out I naught, the rate of change of current, and the second order rate of change of current. Okay, so you can see, appreciate that if you see here, your I1 0 plus, that means 0 order is equal to 0. So therefore first order cannot be 0, it should be a some non-zero value. Now you are getting 10 ampere per second. Okay, because here you are getting 10 ampere per second and there is no further variable is there. So from the next general equation of the second order equation, it is being clear that di2 by dt should be again a some negative value. Okay, so you are getting minus 100 ampere per second. That's how you can find out your solutions. You can cross examine your electrical network, the behavior of the electrical network, and you can also cross check with the help of the mathematical model. That's the beauty of mathematics. So if you see in this electrical network, what is the magnitude of I0 minus, that is before the applying switching condition. So before applying the switching condition, switch was already connected to node A. So that means the flow of current is possessed through the voltage source, resistance R, inductance L, and C is actually untouched. Okay, current is not passing through it, so it C is not participating. So obviously in that case, in the steady state condition, that means the circuit was in steady state condition at 0 minus, fine. So in that case, the equivalent value of L will be replaced as a short circuit. Yes, the impedance of the equivalent inductance is the short circuit. So therefore the magnitude of current I at 0 minus, at 0 minus, that means T is equal to 0 minus, is V by R, and therefore it will remain same V by R, because whenever you apply a switching condition, when you will apply the switching condition, switch is moved from position A to B, neither capacitor nor inductor are going to change their behavior instantly. So in that case, because capacitor was not participating, so it will remain unparticipated for the moment, and inductor is participated, is in steady state condition, so it will remain in steady state condition for the moment. Okay, for the few moment. So therefore I0 plus is also same, and both the things you will get same. Now you can write an instantaneous equation between a RLC circuit, and there you can apply the value of I0, and therefore you are in position to find out the value of di by dt. Okay. So similarly, there are so many interesting problems. You are also asked to find out the second order rate of change, that is d2I by dt2. In that case also you can remodify the equation, again differentiate both the side of the equation, and you can get this answer. Okay. So that's all about. Like in this particular problem, I have been asked you to solve a few minutes back. So when you see this particular problem is now going to attempt your I at the time of switching condition. So at the time of switching condition, the magnitude of voltage source is, the battery is 2 volt, and the resistance is participating. Inductor was in already participated, so that means it is inductor was in short circuit condition, because entire current is passing through the switch, low impedance path rather than 1 farad capacitor, right? So therefore the value is V by R, and a value of I at t is equal to 0 plus is 2 ampere. Okay. Now voltage drop across the capacitor at that moment time is 0, so it cannot change instantly. So therefore Vk0 minus is 0, because there was no voltage drop, current capacitor was not at all participating at all. So therefore the response of Vk0 plus will also remain same, that is the 0 volt. Okay. Now once the capacitor has started participating after applying the switching condition, okay, after before the switching condition, in that case the magnitude of Vk can be how much maximum? It can be integration of I 1 by C of integration of I dt. So that means it is I by C of dt. So in that case I is equal to C dV by dt. So okay, so from there you are getting the this particular dimension of dvk by dt, that is which is equal to I by C. Now I0 plus is known, so can you find out dvk by dt at 0 plus? Yes, you can substitute this value and you can get your answer, that is 2 volt per second. Now what you can do, you can write down your instantaneous equation, the non-homogeneous equation, that is LdI by dt plus Ri plus integration of I dt, 1 by C of I dt is equal to V, and from here you can substitute the value of integration of I dt. Now in this case the integration of I dt will be the remain 0, so therefore you are getting your di by dt which is equal to 2 minus 2, therefore 0 ampere. So rate of change in current is equal to 0 ampere. Okay, here also is asked to find out this thing. Very interesting problem. Similarly, couple of some more problems, unsolved problems, 5.7, 5.9, the chapter 5 of the Valkenberg is given. Attempt these problems. Because shortage of time, I may not be able to discuss each and every problem, but if you have find any difficulty, though the intermediate steps, all the major steps I have been already fetched through the sheet, but if you still face any difficulty, you can discuss with me. Okay, so this problem, that 5.16 is a very interesting problem. Again, I would advise you, there is a the similar kind of circuits we have discussed in the last lecture also, and this is the similar kind of scenario, but at this time you are asked to find out second order rate of change of current di2 by dt, okay, dt2 across the capacitor after applying the switching condition. So that's the challenge. Okay. So you can write down your instantaneous equations, I2 0 plus, I1 0 plus. Remember the behavior will be remain unchanged, and it acts as a short circuit condition because it is a capacitor, so Xc will behave accordingly. So it is V0 by R1 as far as I2 is concerned, I1 again V0 by R equivalent, because remember both the capacitors are now participating in the network. Okay, because both the capacitor sorry, both the resistance, not I said capacitor, are participating in parallel. So R equivalent is actually R1 parallel by R2. So from there you can substitute the magnitude of R equivalent. You can find out the value of I0 plus. Now you can write down your mass equations. You can apply your KVL. You can write down the two instantaneous equations through the loop. Okay. So from there 1 and 2 you can find out the value of di1 dt and the di2 by dt. Once you get that value, you are asked to actually find out di2 by dt. Okay, now because both the rate of change, that is the di1 by dt and di2 by dt are known, so therefore you can substitute in this value, I can get the answers. So now you are getting is approximately 1.4 into 10 to minus 5 ampere, as good as 0.1 microampere. So the rate of change, you look at how slow it is. Okay? 0.1 microampere per second is square. But it looks very small rate of change, but across the capacitor whose value is roughly around 1 farad, 0.1 farad or 0.001 microfarad. I said farad, it's microfarad. So for such a low magnitude of capacitor for 0.1 microfarad or 1 microfarad or 0.01 microfarad, this rate of change is very, very high. Okay, it is as good as that you are bearing 100 kg of stone weight over your shoulder. It's relatively the same. Some more couple of interesting problems are given. I would suggest you to go through these problems and try to solve it. Okay, uh, I think you can consume another 10 minutes of time to solve this particular problem, and then I can join you or discuss if you have any doubt at all. So I hope that you find interesting to solve this particular problem. There are some couple of more problems. One very interesting problem is both the problems are quite outstanding problem. They have real life applications, of course. Consider the 5.24. Now it is a combination of our entire concept. You have to work out the transient response of this electrical circuit, and the circuit is also mutually induced. Okay, so it cover up the concepts what we have discussed in the past 3 lectures. Okay, so remember this time the value of Vt, it is a sinusoidal source, and the magnitude of this source be sine of T upon root over mc. So m is the amount of mutually induced. So that means that the rate of time constant tau is nothing but it is root over of mc. It depends on the value of c and the m. So a typical problem is given, and you are asked to prove that Va 0 plus, okay, that is the drop across the node A. First order rate of change dVA by dt 0 plus, that is the V by L root over of M by C, and the second order change that is due to Va by dt2 at t is equal to 0 plus. Okay. So I give you the initial hint. As you can see that the value of I0 is how much? 0, because remember it is a purely reactive circuit, so there is a no resistance is participating. So the in steady state condition, the all the inductors will replace by the short circuit condition, and the capacitor is replaced by the open circuit condition, so there is a no flow of current at all. So it is very well clear that I0 plus is 0. Okay, so now we can write down our instantaneous equation across the inductor. So your L is equal to L di by dt plus through the capacitor it is 1 by C of I dt, and this should be equal to V of t, where V of t is a source, okay, is a generation of the voltage, and the magnitude of generation of voltage is given V sine t by root over nc. And at the same time across the Va, now the value of Va is as good as the voltage drop across the capacitor as well. Fine. So when we will write down that then Va is equal to 1 by C of I dt, and because again the mutually induced amount of due to the primary side of L, so that is also M di by dt. So that is the equation number you are getting, right? So at t is equal to 0, you can substitute the value of I0 plus, which is 0. So if you will substitute it, now we are getting di by dt at time t is equal to 0, also 0 plus there is a no rate of change because there was no flow of current at all. So it's the logic is very well clear. So if there is no flow of current, so if you look at this problem from the gate examination point of view, so here is the you can say that check, yes, because there was no flow of current, so obviously the rate of change of current is 0. You don't require to even solve it, okay, if it is a competitive exam, right? Yeah. So now we will apply the concepts. So you apply in the equation number 1. So from there and 2, from you can get Va 0 plus, so which is equal to 0 plus M di by dt. So from there you can get this equation, and from equation number 1 you can substitute the value of I0 plus. So from there you can get the di2 by dt 0 plus. Okay, and therefore again we are going to switching to the equation number 2. From equation number 2 again I can differentiate, so I can get dv by dt is equal to I by C plus m of d2I by dt2. Now d2I by dt2 magnitude is already known from the top of the line, that is V by L root over of mc. So I can substitute these values, okay, and I0 plus is equal to 0. So obviously the another terminology in right of section will be tending to 0. So therefore v dVA by dt at time t is equal to 0 plus is equal to m into v upon root over upon L upon whole upon L into root over of mc. Okay, so if you can rearrange this statement, you are getting v by L root over mc. So we are able to prove this. Fine. Now if you are going to again remodify this equation, I mean differentiate both the side. Okay, so you are getting uh, uh, you are able to generate d2y by dt2, and if you are going to substitute this value again in equation number 4, so you will be able to generate second order dv by d2 by vi by dt2, which is now equal to 0. Why 0? Because di by dt is also 0, and I0 plus this term is emerging in the right half of the section, that is also 0. So di by dt is also 0. So both the terms will be tending cancels. So that means d2y by rate of section is equal to 0. Second order of rate of change of voltage is equal to 0. Clear? So the amount of current penetrating immediate after the switching condition is 0. Rate of change of current is 0, and second order rate of change of voltage at the terminal A dash is equal to 0. I hope that the concept is clear, but still you can have a check. Then we will proceed. So today we have saw that how the initial condition and final condition of the switching positions and the application of the switching is put the impact over the electrical or electronic network. I hope that it will help you to develop the clear understanding of the concept of the transient response. But in the next lecture, uh, whenever we will meet, we are going to consider the little complicated scenario, that is the AC sources, and along with that non-sinusoidal sources, and along with that we are also going to consider the second order network to uh, end up the discussions over the transient response. Thank you.